Hi everyone, it's Marguerite with Wreath by Marguerite again, here to do another video for a wreath. This one is not for an actual kit, so I won't be breaking it down to the lowest common denominator of the steps. You'll just be watching along with me and keeping me company while I create this. So let's get started. Okay, for this pixie wreath, we're going to have a sign. I've already attached pipe cleaners to the back. It's wooden, so I was able to use a 1/4 inch staple to hold the pipe cleaner in. So there's 2 on here to feed through the wreath once it's done. I've made a bow for this one because I usually use a bow on one side and a sign on the other for a pixie wreath. This is also an example of the kind of bow that I can make you if you want to purchase a bow by itself, or if you want to purchase a bow to go along with one of the many kits that we have if you choose to make a wreath from the wreath kits, which are available on Etsy. And then we have 12 pieces of deco mesh, and this looks like way more than 12. Whew. Probably. So there's 12 ties in the frame, 7 on the bottom, 5 on the top. So we have 12 pieces of mesh that are 10-inch mesh cut at 20-inch lengths, okay? Just like in a storm door wreath. This is a 10 to 15-inch frame. I'm going to move the bow out of the way now so we don't catch it and everything. This is a 10 to 15-inch frame. It's an elevated frame, so like with the storm door wreath frame, they're very flat. This is elevated, so it's what? It's already at almost 2 inches, an inch and a half. So you've already got an inch and a half on the depth of this wreath. This is not a wreath that I recommend trying to put on a storm door because once you get the bow on it, it's 6 inches deep. Okay, so that's the base that we're going to put everything on. And then these are the 3 ribbons that I chose to use with this sign. I drew the colors out of the sign to determine the ribbons I use. I usually stick a solid colored ribbon in my ribbon bundles, but on this one I went ahead and did 3. It's really up to you. What you're focusing on the most is just color. Do the colors match? You can have all patterned, all solid, a mix of both. It's up to you. And in these ribbon tail bundles, I am using 2 1.5 inch ribbons. That's this width here, and 1 2.5 inch ribbon here. Okay, they're all cut at 12 inches in length, just like with a storm door wreath with the dovetails at the end. Pardon me. If you want to learn how to do the dovetails, be sure to watch one or more of my other videos. I break it down into the absolute basics and the tutorials for the kits I sell. This is just, it's not really a tutorial. It's you watching me make a pixie wreath to put in my shop and to take to craft shows, okay? This will be available as of the time that the video is released on YouTube. If it's not there anymore, I'm sorry. That means it's sold. But feel free to reach out if you want one like it or similar. I'm sure I can come up with something. So the other thing I do when determining how I want my ribbon placed on the wreath is I usually put my favorite ribbon on top. And if I'm using a solid color ribbon, I usually put that in the center to break up the patterns. But in this case, I'm going to leave the 2.5 inch on the bottom. The bric-a-brac-like design in the middle, and I'm going to put the actual beach ribbon with the anchors and the shells and such on top when I put it in the wreath. So that's all of those. So now what I do is I put the twist ties that are built into this wreath base horizontal to me because I'm going to put it's vertical. The twist ties are vertical because I'm going to put in the mesh horizontal. And we're going to do a technique that's called a woodland ruffle. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll this about 4 times, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to clip it in the center. You can either use a board if you have one of these cutting mats to find your center, or get a ruler out. And this is 10-inch mesh, so the center is 5 inches. 10.5 inch mesh, so 5.25 inches. So I'm going to put that clip right there. I use the clip when I'm using solid color mesh because it's the only way I can seem to stay focused on the center when I'm ruffling. Then you turn it around. Remember, you're having it curl side up. See how this curls up? We're going to roll it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I was using that as a weight, so it would stay open for me. Now that we have that, we're going to gather it up the center towards that clip at the top. And there you have it. It's called the woodland ruffle. I put the rolls upward. Some people put them downward. It's entirely up to you what you do. And then you're going to put it in the twist tie. Tight. Twist it 2 or 3 times. I'm going to go with 2. Okay. On this, I'm going to put this one out. I wrapped one of the pipe cleaners around the second wire ring because I find if I leave them like this, when I put the mesh in, by the way, I'm skipping one. I do every other usually. Curl side up. I'm going to put my weight up here for the moment. I'm going to make my 4 rolls. 1, 2, 3, 4. Clip it at 5 inches. I'll keep using the ruler so that you have it as a guide. Me, I just do it without it. I've done a couple thousand wreaths. I don't always need that anymore, but when you have a pattern mesh, it definitely makes things easier. You don't need a ruler. You just have to figure out where your center is by folding it in half. Okay, so I'm going to still use it. 5.25 right there. Follow it up the center, gathering it into your fingers, using your thumb and your forefinger and the rest of your fingers on top. Take that clip out. I'm going to put it in here. And I'm going to show you the difference between the 2 that I've put in so far. 1, 2, okay. This one can rotate. See that? This one cannot because it's got part of the pipe cleaner over the next ring up. And I'll show you that again. I'm going to put it in the clip so I don't have to re-roll it. I don't want to handle it any more than I have to because that's just how mesh is. Okay. So see how I said it's not wrapped around this and this is? I'm going to take one side of the pipe cleaner and bring it up under the wire ring and bring it out on top like that and bring it out. It does shorten it, but in most cases you have more than enough leeway to get all your products into the frame. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to go back, take that clip off, turn it over so that the rolls are on the top side and not the bottom, making sure it's centered so I hold it loosely in my fingers before I put it in, remembering that this twist tie is vertical and I'm putting in the mesh horizontally, twisting it once and twice. So once we get the piece in the center, these will stand up a little bit more. I'm going to skip one again and go here. Grab another piece of mesh, remembering to keep it curl side up in a pixie wreath, gathering, rolling it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can roll it more, but that just reduces the amount of mesh that you have left for ruffling. Take that out. Find my center, which is 5.25. Turning it around. Rolling 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to gather it towards the clip. Notice that time I didn't use the ruler. I'll go back and forth so you see it both ways. Getting it loosely centered in your hand. Putting it horizontally into the frame. Twist. 1, 2. Making sure it's centered. And we'll do one more here. And then there's an odd number of ties on each level on this, so that makes it not really a good idea to try to do multiple style of ribbon bundles, meaning having different ribbons every other. I always recommend, and that's entirely up to you, to use the same patterns in every twist tie of ribbon. Roll it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't really matter. It's just personal preference because I don't like 2 of the same ribbon bundles next to each other. But once you get the bow on there, you really can't see it or in the sign. So it's up to you. It's personal preference. I always say it's personal preference. Put that in horizontally into the vertical twist ties, tighten low once, twice. Now see, they're next to each other, so I'm going to pop them up a little bit and make sure they're even. I'm going to go in here and do this one next. Curl side up. Make a 4 roll. 3, 4. Ruler. Center. 5 1/4 inches. I'm just going to leave that there for now. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I try to roll it from the outside so that it doesn't come out inside of the roll. So 5 1/4 is right here. I'm going to gather it up the center to the clip. Take that clip off, make sure it's even. Get that piece of fray off. Come back here and put it in the pipe, the twist ties, which are vertical. I'm putting the mesh in there horizontal. Okay, so we now just position that all. Cut off any frayed mesh. And go to this one. We have 2 more on this layer. Okay, there you are. When I send you kits, you'll have the mesh rolled up like it is today. Keeping in mind that this is not a kit, just giving you a little information. Feel free to go over and look at some of the other videos for the tutorials to see if you want to attempt this yourself. In the kit, you get all the materials cut. You just have to, and prepped for you except for the ribbon. I leave the making of these little V's, the dovetails, to you. Center. It's a very detailed step by step. I tell you exactly everything I do in very intricate detail, so that all your questions should be answered when making a wreath. And that's in the storm door style. Maybe, hopefully, depending on how things go in the future, I will do tutorials where I sell product for kids for pixie wreaths. Because it is very similar, the only difference is really placement of the sign, the depth of the wreath, and a bow. I think that I would include the bow pre-made in the kit, at least at this point. I'm still mulling it around. And who knows, by the time you see this video, I may or may not have done it. That's what we're looking for. Let me take that off now, bring that down here, find my center. Five and a half was right there. Get that out of the way. It's really super basic tools to make this style wreath and the storm door style wreath. And this one, you just really need the ruler, the clip. You don't need this. You don't need this. You need this. There's also a little plastic needle for feeding the sign through the frame. And if you're cutting your own mesh, you would also need a cutting mat like this and what's called a rotary cutter. This is how you cut your mesh. It's also used in quilting. Let's see. I don't know where that little needle happen to. So we're gonna do this totally without the other pieces. That's fine. Move this back out. So I want to get that. Make sure this is even as much as possible. I like to do the bottom layer of mesh, then put the ribbon in, and then do the top layer of mesh, okay? I need 7 for the bottom. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. That should leave me with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Perfect. Okay, so we took the pipe cleaners, vertical, still, and we're going to lay these packets open on the table and gather up the center where the crease was from the fold. Hold it in your index finger and thumb, and then invert the ribbon so it's facing out towards the table, putting it in the wreath so that it faces to the outside edge of the wreath. Tie this up, either cut the excess off or tuck it in. I'm going to twist it till it's all twisted, and then I'm going to tuck it in on this one, like that. No one will see that on the bottom layer. Then I'm going to go here, and I'm going to pop the bubbles out of the ribbon that are formed from the gathering and separate the ribbon into the order I want it to be seen. So I do it one way on one side, and then flip it on the other side. So on this one, the life preserver ribbon is at the top. On this side, it's on the bottom, and the shell is on the top. Does that make sense? Okay. And I'm going to do the next one. It's a very simple design that you can embellish if you want with florals and other things, because you can't fit this behind a storm door. So if you want to, if you go to my lemon wreath tutorial, you'll see how I put a little lemon spray in it. I've done a ladybug, pixie wreath. It didn't have any embellishments, but it had a much bigger sign, but it all works. Do this again. That mesh is the devil, but it's pretty, and it's a great foundation, and it's weather resistant for the wreath. It acts like Velcro whenever it possibly can. That's why I recommend, if you do make wreaths, if you don't already know this, wear short sleeves. Don't wear long sleeves. You'll be much happier with the lack of frustration. Okay, there's another bundle. Gather where the fold was, invert the ribbon into an upside down V, get that in there, twist this off, tuck it in. Sometimes I cut them, but I don't have my good cutters with me. I'd like to thank the Jansen Art Foundation for their assistance in helping me get my channel up and going. They are providing all the equipment for me to do this until I get it more established, teaching me their ways. See, that bow wants to come along for the ride in that mesh over there. Okay, invert it. You can stay over there. We're not ready for you. Okay, another one in. Get that in place. This wreath, like I said, will be available in the shop once it's completed. Never grab your ribbon from the very end. It's not as delicate as the mesh, but you can still cause fray on the end if you handle it on the edge out here too much. And then you end up having to cut more of the ribbon off. And then that's not fun. You want to keep it there. I like this size wreath because it's a happy medium between big and fluffy wreaths and the storm door wreath. There are so many styles that you can make, so many different forms you can use. But of late, I've been really tickled by using the pixie set mini size frames. Okay, position the ribbon. No one will see these right here because they'll be nice and hidden. Let's 2 more on this layer. Hope everyone's having a good day, or if it's at the end of your day, I hope you're relaxing and enjoying your evening. Twist, twist, twist. And I mix it up a little when I'm doing this, just because I don't like to do the same thing over and over and over necessarily. So I finished twisting off the twist ties before I separated the ribbon. It doesn't really make that much of a difference which way you do it. I just try to give you guidelines to work from. You will find your happy place when you do this yourself, if you do it yourself, or if you're just enjoying your time. I appreciate you being here and seeing how it's all done. I've been in business for 5 years. We moved to Southwest Nebraska just after I started my business, so I had to pack it up for a few months. That was traumatizing. But I'm loving it here. The people living in a very small town of 6,000, not the smallest. But I love it here. Doing craft shows has allowed me to get to know people in the region, which I love. All right, so now it's time to do the second layer. So I'm going to pull these pipe cleaners up. Not pipe cleaners, twist ties. They're much heavier than a pipe cleaner. Here's a piece of a pipe cleaner, and here's a twist tie. You can see that difference there. Did I get them all up? All right, so I'm going to put the mesh in the top layer. I'm not going to go as detailed. And I'm not going to use the ruler. Who knew that a chip clip was going to be an important tool in wreath making, huh? Put that in there. Who knew? Oh, there I go, getting ahead of myself again. Just a couple times. I'm notorious for doing that. Next, don't fall off the table, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. Remember, this was curl side up. Put the clip at the center once I made the first roll. Then I made the second roll and I just followed up the center. Okay, so making sure those edges look good with each other. Come back here. Thank you. 3 to go. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. Ruffle, 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 ruffle. Making sure the mesh is centered in the twist tie. Go. With the kits that I make and sell, I usually give you just a little extra product in case you make a boo-boo. But if you follow the step-by-step instructions in the tutorial, you're not going to have any problems. I think that was right. As you become more experienced, you're able to break down the time and do multiple pieces of ribbon at the same time when you're cutting. but I don't recommend that when you're just getting started out. So this should be on top. That's on the bottom. This is top. Thought I did it wrong there for a second. Nope. Last but not least, the final piece of mesh. Curl side up. 1, 2, 3, 4 rolls, holding towards the outside. Ruler, middle is 5.5 inches because this is 10.5 inch ribbon mesh. You know what I find interesting, and I don't really know the answer to it. Deco mesh in a lot of shops is under the ribbon section, including Hobby Lobby. I don't know why that is. They call it ribbon. Measure it in the center. I don't think it resembles ribbon in any way, shape, or form, but if you know the answer to that, feel free to comment below and share it with the rest of us. That's one question I've never really thought about asking. There's so many wonderful mentors in the Wreath community. Okay. All right, let's get that all lined up how we want it. This is fluffy, 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 fluffy. All right, so now let's put these ribbon tails in. This time we won't do the inverted V because we want to spread it out. Okay. Twist that all around. Press it down. Pop out the bubbles. So down here I did it that way. I think I'm going to put the 2.5. No, it's going to be in the center. I'm going to put the seashell on the outside and the life preserver 2.5 inch in the center. Yep. I'm sticking to the Velcro, I mean deco mesh, ha ha ha. Okay, curl those. Next. See how I spread them out, not in a V formation, it's more like a starburst. Alright. Gets busy in here with all this product, it's a little bit more of a the struggle is real. I could be doing this standing up and I'd probably be more comfortable, huh? I think I'm going to do that. Just try to stay out of the frame. Spread them out and curl them up. Next one. Spread them out. No. Down there. Got a couple more to go. 2 more, right? How fluffy this is. Fluffy, fluffy, fluffy. Those apart, keeping the seashell on the outside. Oh, running away. See, you can get pretty rough with these once you get it in the twist ties. Don't be afraid of putting a little strength behind your twists and putting your ribbon tails in to get them into place. Go with me. mesh ruffles are up in there. Okay. Lift and separate. Hey, we got a freeloader in there. Get those all up. One last set. Okay. Ooh, this one's fluffy. I think this one's going to be more than 6 inches. Okay. So I'm going to take a look at it and see where I want to place the bow and the sign. It almost looks a little oval, doesn't it? Doesn't hurt anything. That's actually not a bad thing. So I'm going to keep it like that. And I'm going to put the sign in on this side. And put the bow in over here. Up higher. I like that. I like it. I'm going to put this at a little bit of an angle. I'm going to sit back down for this portion. I still find my needle. Okay. It's all good. Sit down. So, okay. I'm going to put this down through the mesh. What I want to do is make sure I straddle on each side of one of the wreath rings. See, that's me not being able to do 2 things at once. Okay, I'm going to turn it over. There it is. It's way up there. I'm going to put this nice and tight. Let's see if I made it too tight. I can come back at the end and, yeah, it's a little bit too tight. Okay. We want it to sink in a little bit so it doesn't move, but that was a bit excessive. All right. Let's see how that looks. That's definitely better. Yeah. That's better. Okay, I'm gonna do these 2 out here and this one out here. So I'm gonna go in between the ribbons. Got one hand on the back side so I can find it when I feed it through. Probably should have done this side first. Fray. Okay. All right, come on. You have to be careful to get it through the mesh, but not try to shove it through the ribbon. We don't want to damage the ribbon on the bottom layer. Okay, and I need to put one of these on one side of the bar and one on the other side. Bar ring. I like to change up my words. When you get to be a woman of a certain age, sometimes words are hard. Okay, that looks good. I've messed up all of the ribbon. Okay, this way we go back and fluff it up at the end. All right, how does that look? I like that the ribbon is a little bit over the sign. It just incorporates everything that way. This goes here. I want that under the sign. So that goes there and that goes there. And that, how far over can we bring it? There it is. All right, time to put the bow in and then we'll fluff everything up. So I think it needs to go about right there, is my thinking. Like that. I like that. Maybe I'll do that. Okay. So with this, I'm going to put the pipe cleaner on each side of the twist ties in this one. Feed it through. It's still bothering me. I can't find my little blue needle. It's an embroidery needle and it's stiff and long. so I can feed it through the pipe cleaners through the mesh without all this struggle. But that's okay, I can do it. I got this. Maybe. You coming through? Come on. Come on. All right. Right here. That's the spot, right? Please tell me that's the spot. There we go. Got it. All right. So I'm gonna go, yes, I'm probably smashing the bow. It's okay. I'll get it fluffed up. Needs to go here on that side of that ring. There's a lot of times having smaller fingers is a true plus. Don't pull it too tight because you don't want it to sink into the wreath. And then I'll twist this about 10, 15 times. 1, 2. Because we don't need to keep all this excess pipe cleaner on here. Wrap that around the frame. Never having the end of the pipe cleaner face outside of the wreath because you don't want to scratch a door. Get this done and hidden in the wreath. I'll go back and fix that poor smashed ribbon, huh? That one's a little long. And wrap it, wrap it, wrap it. Turn it over and fix that bow. Okay, signs like that, all the ribbons in place. Let's get it all fluffed out. Turn it over. Fluff this out some more. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and fluff out the bow again with my fingers. So these two blue ones should be over here, and these two should be straddling the, what is that, Lifesavers. This should be in the center. The blue, navy blue should be over the light blue, and then the starfish and stuff there. So now I'm going to start at the back of the ribbon and just run my fingers over it. Do I think that's too long? Huh? No. We'll find out shortly. Yeah, I like that. So then the next layer was the light blue. I cut that a little bit shorter. This one too. Okay. This one seems okay. Maybe a little shorter. There's that. Running my fingers along the edge to keep it curly. I like that curl. Okay, what was the next one after the light blue? I think it was this one, right? Yep. And then the dark blue. I'm going to make curly little ringlets. And this side. And then this was the next layer. I try to put one on each side of the ribbon below it so they're not right next to each other. And then I take these long 7-inch tails, make lead curls, twist it up, pull it out the center, look at that, pretty. And then do the other one. turn it around this way one more time and play with the ribbon some more, because that's what we do. We are ribbon addicts, so we're always playing with the ribbon. All right, turn it around, and there we go. This one is actually 7 inches deep. Alrighty. That's it. Just pull that over there just a little bit more. There we go. Okay, there you have it. Now you've seen how we created this beautiful new wreath for the shop. You can find it in our Etsy shop once the video has gone live. If you don't see it there, I'm sorry, that means it's sold. I will be taking it to a craft show that I'm doing shortly. Please follow along and watch all our videos. We'd love it if you subscribed. Also, I have a Facebook page where you'll get notifications of any time I'm doing videos on YouTube. So that would be great if you participated on that level as well. I appreciate you spending some of your free time with me. It means a lot that you follow along. I'm hoping you learned something, and if you're not interested in making wreaths, I'm sure you're probably interested in buying wreaths if you're watching this, so take a look at the shop. I've got hundreds of items in there from every season, fire, police, military, teachers, everyday wreaths, all sorts of goodies, and some centerpieces as well. So any holiday coming up and you need a special unique gift for somebody, feel free to come and take a look at the shop and see if there's anything you like in there. And once again, lastly, thank you again for spending some time with me. It's very much appreciated. Have a great one.